what I'm talking about is in a more like simplistic way. Something is written in your essence, um, and you are gonna be who you are, just a different version of those things, depending on the circumstances. About your essence, meaning uh, when you know what's wrong and right, it's a good example. Like you're not supposed to hurt your mom or your dad, and your mom knows they're supposed to protect their cubs. Of course, there's variations of that, and there's exceptions as well.
And okay, but then I ask you again, if you were a kid and you would have been through the same situation, would you have handled the same way?
A strong person for you to actually like step out of that. It takes a lot of effort, and it's scary too. To do something you like that's different, that you don't see nobody around you do, it's scary.
Uh, if you would have moved as a child to another country, you think that would have influenced you as a person?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you
But
think that would have influenced your character?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be a different person.
yes, um, I believe certain things are written, right? Like everything is written. But what I'm talking about is in a more like simplistic way. Something is written in your essence, um, and you are gonna be who you are, just a different version of those things, depending on the circumstances you go through in life. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Like,
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Would you, what would you say, Ed? If you
Yeah.
would have moved
Yeah,
as a child?
you would be a different person. You wouldn't have went through the same things, you know. Been a whole different experience.
You
yeah.
might have gone through the same thing, but in a different environment, or
No, it would have been totally different.
Mhm. And when I say like certain things are written in your essence, I'm not referring to like if it's written in the book of God. Everything is supposed to be written book of God. I'm talking about your essence, meaning uh when you know what's wrong and right, it's a good example. Like you're not supposed to hurt your mom or your dad, and your mom knows they're supposed to protect their cubs. Of course, there's variations of that, and there's exceptions as well. But that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. It's written in you. I was a good person. I made, when you stop talking to me, nigga, I made bad choices. I wasn't a bad person. I regretted these bad choices, but I was just angry. But I knew it was wrong what I was doing. Does that make sense?
it makes sense. But at the same time, you had to go through that experience too.
To be where I'm at today, yes,
Exactly.
but not to be who I was in essence, because I didn't feel comfortable doing what I was doing. Circumstances helped me make these choices.
And okay, but then I ask you again, if you were a kid and you would have been through the same situation, would you have handled the same way?
Now, if I was still rich, I would have been an asshole, even if I thought it was wrong, because I was surrounded by people who behaved in a similar way. I'm pretty sure. Unless I would have been like super smart and I would have been like, yo, listen, even though I have all the, which happens all the time, even though we have all this money and stuff like that, and we only are around rich people, I don't feel comfortable. This is not for me. I mean, who knows? It's impossible to
That's
actually.
indeed the what if question that could go two ways. You could have been influenced, or you could have been strong to your essence to feel like, okay, this doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm
But
heading towards.
it's so hard to jump that circle, man. Sometimes that a lot of times people just stay behaving the way they are just because it makes sense to them.
It
compared
feels
to what
comfortable to
they do.
them.
Huh?
It feels comfortable to them.
Familiar, not comfortable,
Familiar,
not
yeah.
open.
That's not,
Yeah,
that's different.
I know my friend behaves in this way, and I know I'll fit in, and I know if this behavior gets accepted, and it's familiar throughout. Even if it's not comfortable for you, you just want the familiarity at whatever of it. So yeah, I kind of that's my opinion. I don't know, but if Ed was a person that was like a little more out there and stuff like that, I think, and that's what I'm trying to do. I think his opinion on certain things would change, and the way he thinks would expand the horizons. Okay, but I think in essence he would always have that internal battle that wouldn't go away of who he really is, who he wants to be.
No,
I think we all have that.
no, you don't.
I agree.
No,
No,
you don't think so,
no, I don't.
Nagai?
When you're a
I
little
agree.
kid, you're a blank slate. Okay, that's why it's so important to give the kids the right lessons in the right environments. You know.
You don't think, Nagai, that you don't have that inside of you, like that battle, like I want to be this, but I guess a lot of effort is difficult, it's different, it's like I don't know what'll happen if I make
I
this
agree
move.
with you. I agree with you totally, and I understand that point. And also, in regards to the children and being a child, and that you're a blank slate, indeed you are. You you get, but at the same time, this is something the children of often they say children provide a mirror to our own actions as parents. And
Absolutely, but you see how much time, TV time, these parents are giving these kids nowadays. I don't,
that's another
and I
topic.
do my best.
But
What's
I
that?
think that children are born not all knowing, but they know the center of themselves very well. And along the way, in parenting, through influences from outside, childs get learned certain coping mechanisms which work for them while they were little. They keep on using the same patterns when they get older and they get better at it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And coming back to your point, Lito, is that when you are growing up, I think you have indeed the essence of yourself, which is telling you from your bad, this is bad, this is good.
Mhm.
Basically, it comes down to you knowing what you stand for, you knowing where you are at, you knowing what is within you, what you want to
Sometimes
get
knowing
there.
is not enough. Sometimes you gotta be willing. Sometimes it's gotta come from a strong person for you to actually like step out of that. It takes a lot of effort and it's scary too. To do something you like that's different that you don't see nobody around you do is scary. It's scary. I
Think about
took it in that direction, and at times I doubt myself. I don't know. I think it would have been easy to just fit in. It's easier to just fit in, and like when somebody says something, even if I don't give a shit what they saying, oh yeah, yeah, and giggle a little bit and just pass on as in like you identify yourself with them. It's easier to do that, and that's why I say a lot of people have that internal fight. Uh, You see, the same happens with like brands and stuff like that. Like if I buy the last Jordans that came out and they cool, and everybody's like, "Oh, those Jordans are cool. How much are they? 500." And you make 500 in your whole month or whatever. So some people will make that sacrifice and be late on their bills and everything just to receive what you just received, like that acknowledgement, that all of that, and not necessarily for themselves. It's just for what comes with it. But this is already taking too long. I promised it was gonna be 5 minutes. I didn't think you were gonna ask me questions about it, but thank you for doing so though. I think this conversation should continue between you and Edward, and I should just listen because I already think how I think, and maybe something you guys say will. I don't
Thank you for watching Unidentified Podcast.